Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be showcasing the new Buttonshy wallet game, Lands of Amazement. This is a Kickstarter preview, so this is a promo copy that was provided to me. But I'm going to teach you how to play, and I'm going to play it. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I am all set to tell you all about Lands of Amazement. So this is the newest game in the Simply Solo line from Buttonshy Games. These are by Scott Alms. And previous games in this series include Hyperstar Run, A Nice Cuppa, which is, A Nice Cuppa is maybe my favorite Buttonshy game, and I'm doing a series on that right now with all the expansions. But it also includes The Last Lighthouse, Food Chain Island, Ugly Griffin, and a bunch of really good games. So much like the previous entry, Hyperstar Run, which very much was modeled after old school 2D platformer video games. This one gives me some nostalgia too for a certain computer game from the late 90s or early 2000s. But in Lands of Amazement, we are an aspiring amusement park designer, and we are first going to build up a portfolio of our work, and then we're going to construct a Megapark. So, as usual, there are 18 cards in this wallet game. 3 of them are these portfolio cards, and these are all double-sided. So there's Labyrinthine Park, Mega Drop Park, the Aqua Center, and then, like I said, double-sided. So we've got Enchantment Isle, 2 Extreme, and Dreamland Coasters. So those are the portfolio cards, and then the rest of the cards, the other 15, are all of these park cards that have the same back on them. So a little bit different from some of the other previews I've done for these Buttonshy wallet games. I usually like to do a teach up front and then a solo playthrough afterwards, but I think this game lends itself better to sort of a teach as you go model. So I'll explain a little bit up front, but I'm mostly just going to start playing and explaining it throughout. But I will point out a couple of things on these cards. So let's just take this card here as an example. So on these park cards, each one's got some really great artwork and a thematic name. So this one is Medieval Manor, and you can see there's this roller coaster with this fire-breathing dragon crawling up a castle turret. So that's cool. In the top left corner is going to be a little mini grid, and this is called a park plan. Then next to it, there's going to be some sort of game effect in text. This one says reserve this card. And then in the bottom 2 corners, bottom left and bottom right corner, there's going to be some little grid of icons. And they may be blank, or they may have these other icons. Let's show each of the icons real quickly here. What are we missing? We're missing this here. Okay, so the 5 icons you might see on these cards are, you've got this trumpet here, this blue one, this is shows. This looks like a roller coaster, and this is sort of orange. This one is rides. This red one with a picture of a hot dog is food. This green one with a teddy bear is gifts. And this purple one with an arrow in the center of a board, this one is games. So we're going to be using these icons to construct different parks and eventually a mega park. I'll show you sort of how those different icons come into play. But we're going to take these cards and put them all together, and we're going to shuffle them face down to start the game. So we're kind of into the setup now. And we need to pick, of these portfolios, one of them at random to play. There's, like I said, there's 3 cards. They're double-sided, so you can kind of randomly flip some and shuffle them up and pick that way. You could also just number them if you wanted to and roll a regular 6-sided die to randomize it that way. Today, I'm just going to play Dreamland Coasters because it's on top. So we're going to set this over here. After our deck is good and shuffled, which I think this one is, take one card and you're going to just place it right here, covering the word portfolio, no more than that. So again, there's the card. I'm going to cover portfolio, but as you'll see, as we advance, we're going to use it to cover these rounds. The next thing I'm going to do is draw the next 4 cards at random to build my deck. My deck goes here. And the other cards I'm going to put into 3 piles as evenly as possible. It doesn't matter where you put, you're going to have one extra. It doesn't matter where you put it. I'll put it in the middle. And then take each of these stacks and flip them over so that you can only see the top card. So what we're doing in the first half of this game, because it's really, I don't know if it's really halves, but there's two phases to the game. There's the first 4 rounds where we are building our portfolio before we try and construct this Megapark, and then there's the final round where we construct the Megapark. So they're just not going to let some amateur park designer design dreamland coasters here. We've got to build up our portfolio of work. So what we're going to be doing in the meantime is trying to construct these park designs in the top left corners from these stacks. So let me show you how that works. We're going to start with our deck. We're going to flip over the top card, and we're going to place it here to start a new park. Then we're going to, you can't really do much with one card. I'm going to flip over the second card, and now I can either decide to add it to this park or start a new park. Let's add it to this park for now, just so we can look at what that looks like. So, like I said, there's 2 sets of icons in the bottom corners of each card. This one's a little bit over to the left. That's a little tricky, but that's okay. On each card, you may only interact with one set of the icons. So this one, either these blue shows or these yellow rides. This one, either the yellow rides, or I guess orange rides, or these red food icons. You pick one, and you are aligning these cards to try and make the park plans from any of the available park plans on these 3 face-up piles. Now you can see in this example, I have achieved this park plan, this extreme altitude one. I've made that shape, but I've got 2 extra icons. You can have extras, you can't have any missing icons. So if you have done this, if you've built one of these park designs and you have extra icons, then you just take that whole park, put it in your discard pile along with the park that you completed to reveal the one that's under it. Add that to your discard as well. Now, if I had no extras, if I had perfectly achieved that set of icons, then I could also I could choose to activate whatever the effect is on this card. So this says discard the topmost reserved card, then reserve this card. This here is my reserve pile. So if I had achieved this, I could discard that. So take this topmost reserved card, put it in my discard pile, and then put this card here as a reserved card. Now you'll see later what we're going to use that reserve pile for. In a nutshell, we're going to be using these cards to construct the Megapark at the end. But by completing that park, I've now revealed the next park in this stack. So I've got 2 more cards here. I will reveal this one, start a new park with it, and then I've got 1 more, which I'm going to play here because I'll never complete a park with just 1 card. I'll need at least 2, but you could have multiple parks going at the same time. So I could have, like, we've just got, what are these? Tip Top Heights and Relaxation Junction. Let's remember these are my last 2 cards. But I could, in theory, let's say I was still trying to maybe build something over here. I could have a park going like this, like, okay, I'm putting these icons together, I'm trying to do something, and I'm putting these icons together, trying to build a different park over here. So you can have multiple parks going at a time, and whenever you achieve one, then you discard the cards. If you perfectly achieve that design, then activate the effect if you choose. Otherwise, or in either case, take the card and then put it in the discard pile. So, here are the rules on building your parks. So if you haven't noticed, your cards can be rotated in 90-degree increments. That's what I've been doing. So you can go sideways as well. You just have to make a fully connected grid. So cards can be placed side by side or overlapping. And if they overlap, their icons must align. They cannot be like half covered, right? Just make a grid. That's pretty intuitive. And a park consists of one like contiguous group of icons that are connected edge to edge, no diagonals. And anything that's completely disconnected is not part of the park. So if I have this park here with these 2 cards, I couldn't take like this card and say this is somehow part of that park. They've got to be connected, right? And then each card may only contribute a single shape. So like I said, there's these 2 bottom corners. You can only use 1 per card. So in this example here, I'm using this orange rides, and then from the next card, I'm using that blue shows, and from this card, I'm using these blue shows. These purple games are not included because that is the we've already used icons from that card, so that's not part of the park. And finally, each card must contribute at least one icon, so we cannot like fully cover up that bottom card. It's no longer being used. That doesn't count. But then for me, here's where things get really interesting for this game, and I feel like this is sort of a departure from other Buttonshy games where you're sort of placing cards to build some sort of shape or group. I think of things like I recently played Casinopolis on this channel, or it's reminiscent of something like Circle the Wagons if you've watched those videos. But the departure in Lands of Amazement is that park cards are not locked into position once they're played. So you can rearrange all the cards in any one park in any way that you want. But you cannot, the restriction is you cannot move cards between parks. So if I've got two separate parks, you can't move cards between them, and you cannot remove cards once they're added to a park. So these two, I've started this park here with these two cards, but I could decide later, like, you know what, maybe I don't want to use these icons on this card, I want to use these icons, or maybe I want this one to be on top instead of that one. So I find that neat, and it's unusual for the Buttonshy games that I've played. That's not typically how the rules go, but that's how it goes in this game. So in any case, with these last two cards, I have made this zigzaggy shape of kids coasters, and I've made it perfectly so I can choose to trigger this text effect here. And so this says to take the top card of another stack and use it to create a new stack. That's interesting. So I think I will take this one because I kind of have a hard time making that shape sometimes. So use it to create a new stack. So now I've got 4 different parks available here. And now that this is complete, I take these 2 park cards along with the park that I just completed and I add them to my discard pile. Now I have no more cards in my deck to draw. So at this point, from all of the cards in my discard, let me lay them out here. Any cards that have any symbol that is listed here in round 1. So we've got this game symbol. Any card with the game symbol on it, so that's going to be these 3, I may choose to add to my reserve stack. And if I have at least one card that meets that criteria, I must add at least one card to the reserve stack. But I could choose to add more. And again, we will be using the cards of our reserve stack to build this Megapark in the final round. So I want to kind of keep that big shape in mind. And I think I'm going to take this card. We're going to put this one into the reserve stack. I could choose to do more, but I'm not going to. So the rest of these will go back to the discard. And now we're going to take these reserve cards, move them down. We're going to go into round 2. Now that we're going into round 2, take this discard pile, shuffle it up, and it makes our new deck. And since we've added some cards to it, even though I put 1 in the reserve stack, I've got 5 cards now in my deck instead of the 4 that I had at the beginning of round 1. So now we're going to proceed to do the same thing. Whoopsie. All right, we've got our 5 cards. Let's draw the first one. Can't really do much with 1 card, so let's draw the second one. And now we need to decide, are we going to add it to this park or are we going to create a new park? And to make this decision, I want to look at what shape do I think I might complete and what are the effects of those shapes. And again, at the end of round 2, I must take at least 1 card with a food icon and add it to my reserve, so it's going to go into my Megapark later. So I think I'd kind of like to complete this one. I think I want these 3 food icons in that configuration to go into this park later. So I'm going to try and complete that shape. So to do that, do I want to combine these into a single park or do I want to leave them separate? If I put them like this, then I'm only 1 icon short here of completing this park. So I think I will keep them together. That is 1 park. Now I draw the next card. And again, I have to decide, do I want to add it to the existing park or do I want to start a new park? And this is a pretty good draw. I'm going to add it to the existing park. So I'm going to place it here. And now I have made this shape perfectly following all the rules. So the effect here is add this card to an existing park. Do not start a new park. So I can't start a new park. I don't have another existing park, so I can't trigger that effect. But it does go in my discard now, which is where I wanted it. And I've got a couple of cards left. So we'll draw the first one. Can't do much with one card. I'll draw the second card. Might as well make them one park. And let's see if I can complete any of these 3 shapes while I'm here. And I can. If I take this here, these food icons. Oh no, that's going to yeah, there we go. I completed the Halloween land shape, and I completed it perfectly. 3, 2, and 1 icon. That's what it says. So this says choose a card in the discard and use it to start a new park. I mean, that's fine. I can choose any card from the discard, right? So I'll choose this one, start a new park. But now I have no more cards to draw. So I'm left at the end of the round with just this one card sitting out here. If you have any incomplete parks here at the end of the round, you just take all those cards, put them in your discard. So you don't lose them or anything. You don't have to worry about that. So now let's lay out all the cards of our discard. So we started with 5. Now we've got 7. So we've got more options to choose from. That's great. And we must pick at least one card with a food icon. So those are these 3, and add it to my reserve. And this was the one that I wanted. I like that shape. So I'm going to add that to the reserve. I could add one or both of these if I wanted to, but I'm choosing not to. You don't want too many cards in your reserve because you must use them all to build your Megapark, and you don't want to have too many cards because that can get a little overwhelming and a little cumbersome, and you'll end up incurring some penalties because the rules for building that Megapark are a little different, and that's how you're going to get your final score. All right, so I've shuffled up my deck. We're going to slide these cards down, so we're on round 3 now. Looking to add a card at the end of this round with either the gifts or the rides icon on it somewhere. And I've still got my 3 stacks of cards here with their different park designs on them that I'm trying to complete. So here's our first draw, and here's our second card. And the question again is, do I want to start a new park or add it to an existing park? And let's see, I think I want to try and achieve this one. It kind of looks like a number 4. And I think I want to use these icons here. So then I just need, what do I need? Oh, that's not quite right. Well, yeah, let's leave these as separate parks and draw another card and see what I can do here. So now I can either start another new park or I can add this to one of the existing parks. And I think I'll add it to this park here because I can cover these icons like so. And now I have made this sort of figure 4 shape, and I've made it perfectly. I don't have any extra icons. So I can discard these 2 cards, and this says, well, I guess don't discard them because the effect that I trigger is choose a card from the completed park and use it to start a new park. So this one's going to get discarded. And which one of these might I want to keep? I think I'll keep this one and start a new park because I think this shape fits well with this park design, so maybe I can achieve that. And that is the bottom of that stack. I kind of want to reveal more, so there's more in each of these stacks, but this one's at the end. So let's see what else I might be able to reveal if I can complete one of these 2. So again, I might start a new park with this or add it to any existing park. And so I know if I add this over here, I could complete this shape and I can complete it perfectly, but the effect is reserve this card. I don't really know that I want to reserve this card necessarily, and if I put it in my discard, I'm not revealing anything new, so I don't really get anything good for that. So if I were to add this to this park, I don't think I'm real interested in completing this one. So let me look at the other 2. Maybe there's something better I can do. And yeah, I think I can complete this one. If I flip this over like this, oh no, these 2 are such a pain because there's that little gap there. I can't connect them the way that I would like to. Well, this might still work if I use these icons, if I go this way. That is this shape, and I've completed it perfectly. So this says, choose an incomplete park, that would be this one, and shuffle it back into the deck. I will do that. This goes in the discard, and this gets shuffled back into the deck. And I really like this shape here for the Megapark at the end, and that has icons that I could grab this time. So I think I'm going to try and use these last 3 cards to construct that park perfectly or not. So this, I'll start a new park. I will add this to the existing park. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but that's, I'm going to add it. Maybe I'll do, I don't know. I got to think about it, but I've got I've got 2 cards in the park, right? That's something. And now the third card, I will also add it to the park. And again, a little bit unusual for Buttonshy games, but I can rearrange these cards. I can put them in any order. I can decide to use different sets of icons. I just get to build the park now. So maybe these 3 can be like the top, and then I'm going to need 3 on the bottom like that. And then I need one more icon here, and I can get that by sliding this one like so. That works. I've completed that shape, and I've completed it perfectly, that park design. So that says start a new park with this card. So I could choose to trigger that effect. We'll just start a new park with this card, but then I have nothing else to draw. I haven't completed anything, so the round is over. This park would just go to the discard anyway. Again, those effects, if you complete the park perfectly, are optional, so you don't have to take them. You're not obligated. So we're at the end of the round. Let's lay out all of the cards in our discard. Wow, we got a lot of them. We'll just move this over for a second. And we need to put into our reserve at least one card that has either a gift icon or a rides icon. So this one has both. This one has rides, gifts, rides, gifts, rides. This one has neither. So any card but this one. And it is a minimum of 1, but I can put as many as I want. And I think I will stick with this one. This was the one that I was aiming for. So it's got rides. I'm going to add it to the reserve. I'm not going to add the rest. So my deck is much bigger now. Hopefully I can complete many parks going into this 4th round. So the 4th round, we're going to have to add a card with either shows or games. So let's shuffle these up. And now is probably a good time to tell you there's an advanced mode of this game, an expert mode. We're playing the regular mode, so we're just gonna kind of keep doing what we're doing for round 4. We're gonna get what we get. And there may be cards left over in these stacks at the end, and we're just going to discard them. That's fine. If you play the expert mode, you are going to be penalized for each card remaining in these stacks. So then you're really trying hard to get through all of these parks, regardless of if you're going to use them or not. So we're in round 4. There's our first card. Here's our second. We may or may not start a new park. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. I'm going to combine these, and I'm going to use these show icons and these food icons. Oh, not quite. I'm going to be one icon short. Or can I do it this way? I can do it this way. Okay, so our 2 show icons and then our 4 food icons. That perfectly makes that design. So we could choose to trigger this effect, reserve this card, but I don't think I want to do that right now. I think that's going to leave me with too many cards at the end. So instead, I'll just discard it. And now we're just working on the 1 stack, and there are 2 cards in the stack. So here we go. And we're going to combine these into a single park. So we can use this sort of L shape from the shows at the top, and then these 4 gift icons here, and that actually completes that shape perfectly. So what does this say? Oh yeah, this would have been good earlier. This says to shuffle all of these stacks, so this is a stack, shuffle all the stacks together, and then redeal the same number of stacks as evenly as possible. So that would just have me reshuffle this 1 card and then redeal it. So we'll just skip that effect. Let's see if I can finish this last one with the cards that I have remaining. So, and I've got a number of cards. I should be able to do it, even if it's imperfect. Boy, these shapes don't want to play nice together. That looks good. This is good here. That's a good start for that left side. And maybe I'll just place this here sort of next to it like that. Is that good? Oh, you know what? That completes it. Just like that. So I've got these 4 and these 3 with 1 extra. So I've completed it imperfectly. So I cannot trigger this effect, which says place this card on the bottom of the deck, which kind of prolongs your round. It gives you another option. But that's it. So when there are either no more cards in the stack or no more cards from your deck to draw, that is the end of the round. So we ended this round a little early. That's okay. From the cards that I have left, let's lay them all out. It's a lot of cards. So I did pretty good. I've got a lot of options. But I need to pick one with either a show symbol or a game symbol. So this one's got shows, shows. This one has neither. Games, shows, shows, neither, neither, games, games, games. So from what remains, I need to take at least one card and place it in my reserve. And it'd be nice if one of them had both. That would give me a lot of options, but I'm not seeing that. So I either like the square block here, or I like this just because this is a lot of games and I'm going to need a lot of games. So between those two, maybe I'll take the games. We'll see what happens. I add it to my reserve. I could add both. That might be too much. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's add both. We'll add an extra one. We'll demo what happens here. So the rest of the cards, these are gone. I've got my reserve stack. Everything else is just out of the game. Now we go into the Megapark phase, which is a little bit different than the first phase, or the first 4 phases. So, as I alluded to, we're trying to build this Megapark. We have added 5 cards into this reserve stack. There was one that started face down in the reserve stack, so we don't know which one this one is. And when you build the Megapark, you must use all of your reserve cards, at least one icon from each, and you can lay them all out and build it in any order that you like. And in this stage, we're building with these cards, so we're ignoring everything on the top. So we're not looking at these designs or their effects. Those don't have any effect anymore. And then this will make more sense when we score it up. But unlike all of the other designs, when we build the Megapark, we might be missing. We might have gaps of things that are quote unquote necessary from this design. So we're going to build it the best we can, but we want to avoid gaps. We also want to avoid having extras. We're going to be penalized for that. And finally, all these icons from rounds 1 through 4, we want to have a minimum of each of those icons and types. So in our final park, within the bounds of our park. So we want to have at least 4 games, at least 2 food, at least 2 rides, 1 gift, and 1 show. So that's why I needed like a lot of games icons. That's why I tried to grab some of those. So let's see what I can throw together here. What I like to do is I like to look for these L shapes because they're really handy and nice. So like these 3 food and these 3 rides. If I put them together, that kind of makes this left side of the Megapark. And now I've just got a column of 4, a column of 4, and then a column of 2 in the middle that I'm trying to fill while using the right number of these icons and not making the park too big or leaving gaps. So yeah, simple as that. I'm going to put these games here and then grab this block of shows. Oh, whoopsie. And put it right here. And that's a pretty good start. I am missing really just 2 icons down here and then I'll be done. I have to use every single card, at least 1 icon from each card, and I think I can do that. So if we look at the icons I've already got in this park, I've got my 4 games, I've got my 2 rides, I've got 2 food, I've got my 1 show. I don't have any gifts yet, so I want to make sure to have a gift. So I'm going to slide this one sort of under, like so. There's our 1 gift, and I left a spot open because we have to use an icon from every card. So I'm going to take, it doesn't really matter if it's a food or a show, but again, I'm going to slide under. I think we'll do a show just because it'll be easier to get to. Oh no, that'll cover that. Shoot. Can I go under the gifts card? Put this one all the way on the bottom. There we go. And have 1 food icon sticking out like that. So let me see if I can line up my grid correctly. So we've only used 1 set of icons per card. We've used at least 1 icon for each card. And we have built our Megapark here. So let's go from left to right. Our first column should have just 2 icons. So blank, icon, icon, blank. We've done that. Second column should be 4 icons. The third one, again, is like the first, blank, icon, icon, blank. Try to make that a little more clear. And then the last two columns should be 4 icons and 4 icons. So I've built the exact configuration. I don't have any extras. And again, we have 4 games in there. We have at least 2 food, at least 2 rides, at least 1 gifts, and at least 1 show. So this one's pretty good. So if we had any gaps where we were supposed to have one of these filled out sections of Megapark, if we had a gap that we didn't fill in with an icon, we would gain 2 points for each of those empty squares in the plan that's not filled with an icon. We would also gain 1 point for each icon in our park that is not in the plan. So basically extras. So if I had placed this food one at the end instead like this, like it was sticking down, this extra icon, that would gain us a point. And if you haven't figured it out yet, we're going for, you don't want points. This is golf scoring here. So I don't have any extra points either, or extra icons that would get me 1 point each. And then 1 point each for each icon in the portfolio that is missing from the park. So if I had played this a little bit differently and I only had 3 games instead of 4, I would have 1 point per icon missing. And then if you are playing on expert mode, again, at the end of the 4th round, if you still had any stacks remaining, each card that was remaining in any stack at the end of the game is 1 point as well. So when you add up all your points, if you have a score of 6 or higher, that is a failure. If you have a score from 3 to 5, you are a capable planner, which is normally where I've scored. I've played this probably 8, 9 times now. And I generally score 3 or 4 points. That's typically where I land. If you have a score of 1 to 2, you are an imaginative designer, and I have scored 2 before. And if you have 0 points, which I managed to achieve this time for the first time, then you are a visionary. That is a perfect score. So I've never done that before, and it's kind of cool that I did it on camera. I like when that happens. So that is Lands of Amazement. It is the newest Simply Solo game from Buttonshy Games that'll be coming to Kickstarter. Again, this is a preview copy, so some of this is subject to minor changes, but I do like it. As I mentioned earlier, the rules about being able to sort of place these cards in any order and rearrange them and change your mind throughout, that is unusual for these games, and I kind of like it. It takes some of the pressure off, but at the same time, sometimes I've played, like this playthrough was pretty smooth, especially at the end. I got that Megapark pretty quick, and it looks great. That's a visionary Megapark. But there's been other times where, maybe my just reserve stack was not very good, and I made some mistakes, and I kind of sit here trying to puzzle out, I know I can't build the Megapark perfectly. I'm going to be missing icons. I'm going to have extra icons. I'm going to have gaps in it. And I'm trying to figure out what is the optimal placement. And there's a lot of options. Being able to rotate each card 90 degrees. You've got 2 sets of icons from each card to consider. And you can, change the order of your cards at any time. So, there's been times where most of the game has been the Megapark. I might sit there for 20, 25 minutes just puzzling out these couple cards, trying to not have a failure park and just get by with what I can. So maybe you like that, maybe you don't. That's been my experience. I guess I'm kind of neutral towards it. But I've also found that after playing it several times, I kind of get into a rhythm of it, and it does get a little bit quicker. So no surprise, I'm a fan of Buttonshy games and the Simply Solo line in particular. And if you are a fan of those too, you might consider Lands of Amazement. So this, if it's not on Kickstarter already, then it'll be coming soon. I will put a link in the description just as soon as I have one. And if that's something you want to back, then you know what to do. Otherwise, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below in this video. If you like this type of content, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do play a fair amount of Buttonshy games on this channel, and I've got a whole playlist of them you can check out if that's something you want to do. And even at this moment, I am doing a whole series for the month of August of 2025. Every Friday, I'm releasing a how to play video for a different expansion of A Nice Cuppa, and then I am immediately after playing with that expansion, and that will culminate at the end of the month with me playing all 4 expansions simultaneously. So I really like that Simply Solo game, and I've got a whole series going, so you can check that out as well. But that's what I've got this time on Table for One. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Lands of Amazement, and I will see you in the next video.